So to start off, I thought I'll just give you a little bit of history of MA education program. We started MA Ed in 2011 with a class of 40 to 45. And there are, today if you ask me, there are more than 1,000 graduates working out there in different parts of the country in variety of roles ranging from uh, being a program manager. Some of them are working as curriculum experts. Some of them are researchers in education, and some of them have also set up their own social enterprises. And the way I have divided, we kind of discussed with my other colleagues from admissions office have also joined. Uh, and I'm so happy to see interest in any education program of all of the people that whom we have sent this. The session has three parts to it, right? Three parts to it. Those who joined in late did not started, just warming up. The first part is we'll explain what will be the selection process into the program. Because you have done one part of entrance test and everything. So I'll explain that. Second and third part is up to you. You can guide me whether I should do or not. Second part is we can tell you more about the educational status of the country and why you must consider this program. That's part two. Part three is if you have questions about the program, what does it mean to study MA education? What are the placement possibilities? We can do that. Okay. And with that introduction, I'm going to come up with a small PPT so that I can quickly explain what is going to be the selection into the program. Okay. And if you have a question, you can either type it in the chat window or you just raise your hands. I'll take your questions then and there. And, it's quite an informal interaction that we have designed, and you can stop me in between. Absolutely no problem. You can stop me in between. So yeah, so you will be considering you for the MA education program starting in July 2024, and this is the campus at Bangalore. If you are anywhere closer to Bangalore, you're more than welcome to visit the campus. This is a short. This is my favorite spot near the library. What you see on the left is the library, and the selection process for this group is special that we are talking to is because you have already cleared. If you see this, you have gone through a selection entrance test. You have written an essay, and you have also kind of qualified in our multiple choice test, right? But any education program does require an evaluation that you see what is known as the subject test. So if a couple of you here who have filled the application form, right? My colleagues have sent out a form for you to fill to be considered for MA education. You would have seen something called subject, right? Whatever you fill there, you will go through a subject specific evaluation, right? And whatever you mentioned, and you will be given an option of 5 areas. And this is kind of uh, uh, the subject on which your MA education program will be anchored, right? And if you really look at it closely, all are school curricular areas. Early childhood education might be new in the sense you would not have studied ECE, but that's one of the key areas of if you look at the policy of what's happening in the country, something called foundation literacy and numeracy, right? So that's going to be that's what the ECE is about. But you have to pick only one, right? And there will be an evaluation. So that's how the selection process is going to be. And why I brought the slide is you'll be wondering, oh, when I appeared for the MA development, there was no subject test. What is this special about MA education? Of course, it's special, right? Whatever you do, the core of education happens inside a classroom. Although MA education is not a teacher preparatory program, it's not a teacher preparatory program. We are preparing you for larger roles, which I'll tell you what that roles are. And if you're preparing you for larger roles, and this is what you learn in MA education, which I'm not explaining now, but I can explain later. But if you see that circle, if you see the circle called knowing one subject, that is key, very, very key to study. And what you learn in that subject is from one of the 5 options that you see. Correct? That is why we are evaluating. On that note, I'm going to stop. That is all I thought I will speak on the first 5-10 minutes. I think I took more time than that. And now I want you to ask me questions, and I'll bring up the slides to respond to your questions. So, and the question could be, I'm just categorizing into three buckets. Could be about the selection process itself. Second could be, do you want to know why you should consider MA education, right? So that we can tell you the current status of education. We have achieved a lot, of course, and what we need to do, right? Why do we need education professionals? We could talk about that. Third, if you want to deep dive and know about the MA education program structure itself, my colleague, faculty members have also agreed to join. Some of them have already joined or will join. And those who fill the form, I think they're giving you time until April 1st or 2nd. I don't remember the date, but immediately after that, a couple of days or the week after, within 10, 15 days, you'll be invited for an interview. That's where we are, but I'm going to skip this slide and I'll take your questions. Any questions? Those who walked in late, I'm going to quickly recap what you missed. What I was saying is I can see the number of participants have gone up. You will not have to go through the entrance test again because you've already cleared one benchmark of selection process in the Great University. The only thing to be evaluated is the subject area test, and would have all received a Google form, and in that Google form you have to fill your subject preference, and there'll be an evaluation. That's about it. And the subject is not only for evaluating you for the entrance test, and that is the subject that you'll be learning as part of the MA education program. Right? It's not only that, not only learning that subject, but aspects around that subject. Okay. On that note, I'm going to stop and completely going to open it up for questions. Whatever you need to know, you can now ask. Okay, that's better. Thank you. Yes, I'm not able to hear you clearly, but yes, go ahead.
Sir, in part one, there are 40 questions are there. So, which is related to that question, sir?
No. See, the thing is, I'll bring it. I don't know whether I explained it clearly. You do not have to go through the selection test again.
Sir, I'm not getting clearly.
I'm sorry?
I'm not getting this part one, sir.
No, you do not have to. I'm telling you, you don't have to. You have already cleared. The only thing that you will go through is a subject area evaluation. So I'll repeat what I said. You do not have to go through. If you remember, you might have either applied in round 1 or round 2. You have appeared for the MCQ. You do not have to go through that again. But you will have to go through a subject specific evaluation. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good. Thanks for asking. Even for others, it's not clear. I'll be happy to. There'll be no, see, the thing is, Lakshmi, there'll be no questions that I can declare now how many will be asked. It all depends on the interviewing panel, how they really want to do it. But what I can do is, if you see a link there, those who had gone through the MA education program would have, I'll put the link there so that you know the kind of questions they may ask. The kind of question they may ask. But it will be, I can confidently tell you, it will be at a school level.
Good evening, sir.
Hope I answered Lakshmi's question. Yeah, yes.
Good evening, sir. My question is the social studies and science section are mentioned the subjects like science is given physics, chemistry, and biology, and social studies history, geography, political science. Sir, as continuous, the different subjects are also included in early childhood education, language, or mathematics.
No.
Sir,
So it's like this. No. It's like, see, it's like this. Mathematics is only one. Huh? So they could ask anything from either algebra or exponents or geometry. It can be anything, right? There's no specific areas that we're going to declare. It will be what is covered in 8th, 9th, 10th. I don't think the 11th, 12th. It's at a class 10 level. So for maths, I wouldn't spend time understanding calculus, integration or differentiation. But clearly, I would like spend time on polynomials, quadratic equation, right? Yeah, algebra related. That's the thing. Okay. Language is
Sir, what
language.
about,
Sorry.
sir, please continue, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, early child education is slightly different, right? Early child education is thematic. So I would probably, if it was me in your position, I would probably go and read the National Curricular Framework Foundational Stage. You can write down, you can Google it. If you just Google, I can put it on the link also. Just Google National Curricular Framework Foundational Stage is a good starting point to learn about early child education. Is it
And
clear?
sir, language. Sorry, sir. And sir, language section. What about
Yeah, so
language section?
language is trying to understand your interest in language education. So it's not about, of course, the medium of instruction at St. James University is English, but the concept that we're trying to understand is your interest in language education. I'll do one thing. Let me put out the link wherein those who would have appeared. Let me put this link here. If you go through that link, you'll get an idea of the kind of questions that will get asked. Subject area question. See what a faculty is trying to see is a couple of things. One is if you have indicated, say for example, science education as an interest area, how much of science have you concepts do you remember from school? Okay, thank you, Rishi. It's also joined. So that is the thing. But you have to choose very carefully. You have to think through. As to, I'll bring back the slide again that I was showing, and you should really, really think through which subject area is very closer to you. And this is for not only for evaluation. I'm repeating what I said. I think I can see the number of participants have just gone up to 81 now. This is also the subject area that you will be learning in the MA education program. And many people miss that. Many people miss that aspect. I'm not talking about you, even for others also. It's not only about evaluating you, but also that you will learn as part of your studies at the same time. Did I answer your question? Whoever was asking? I can't remember
Sir,
who. Yeah.
sir, we will learn in languages education only one specific language or all languages.
No. So the thing is, Rishi, you can add.
Yeah.
In fact, I did speak to. I was actually talking to Giridhar Rao this morning. It's about approach to teaching a language. It's not about making you an English language expert. Or to put it this way, if I can paraphrase or quote what a faculty is saying, they're saying most of the places you're teaching English as a subject and not as a language. Or for that matter, I can say Kannada also. My son was trying to learn Kannada as a language and not as a subject. Somehow trying to remember the meaning, कैसे exam pass करना है, and not appreciating the beauty of that language, the way language uh, should be acquired. That's the thing. Or how important is the multilingualism? So those are the concepts they'll try to cover. But Rishi will be the best person to add. Rishi is a faculty at St. James University, and we did show your video while we were waiting. And that's the video I would say that everybody should watch to at least to kind of to convince themselves that this could be the program for them. You want to add anything on language education, Rishi?
Yeah, no, you're right, Rajgopal. You're able to hear me, right?
Yes, very clear, very very clear.
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, you are absolutely right. I think Ali was the one who was asking this question. So, it is about what is it that we need to have, as a skill set if we are going to engage with teaching languages. So, you may, go over to Kerala and there engage in teaching Malayalam, or if you go up to some North Indian state and you're engaged in teaching Hindi, what is it that we really need to keep in mind? What is learning a language? What does it mean? As Rajgopal was saying, I mean, what is the kind of excitement that we need to bring in children when they learn language, so that the joy of learning a language, which unfortunately is gone away today, is brought back when children are learning a language. So the poems within a language, the various stories, where do you bring them in, when do you bring a poem in, right? It can't be that poetry is just introduced as soon as children come into a class wherein you are trying to learn a language. So there are different strategies that need to be employed. What kind of stories at what age, right? And so what are these strategies through which finally that you not only enjoy language, but you learn it comprehensively. You learn all the grammar aspects of it, you learn to communicate in it in a very effective manner, maybe again by writing your own stories, writing in your own poetry. So this is what you have to do with children, right? So as educators, as we are engaging in education, we learn these aspects of teaching a language in a course that is to do with language.
Thank
Sir,
you.
the mode of interview is only English or other regional language are also included or not?
The more, see, the thing is, I'm repeating what I said. The medium of instruction at Azim Premji University is going to be English. And as part of the interview is also we're trying to understand, are you able to comprehend and understand the English that we are asking? Okay, so the mode of interview will be in English. Or to put it the other way, let me explain this. I was discussing with somebody else. To study at Azim Premji University, you should be able to read and understand English, comprehend and understand English. You should be able to write reasonably well. If you make grammar mistake, I think worry too much about. At least you should be able to express your thoughts and ideas in English. You don't have to be speaking in English to study at Azim Premji University. We can learn that when you are here. Because I can't
Rajgopal,
promise you, because sometimes conversation can happen in Hindi, but I can't promise you if there is somebody faculty who does not understand Hindi that you'll say that Rajgopal ने तो बोला था कि हिंदी में बात कर सकते हैं, but अभी तो आप मुझे allow नहीं कर रहे. That's why I'm just being slightly, but Rishi, you can add. You have done interviews, so you can add.
so yeah, I mean that's important. What Rajgopal has just said, that you need to have a, I mean, maybe we can put it this way, right, Rajgopal, that you need to have a working knowledge of English. Yeah, what does it mean? It means that if we give you 5 pages of material in English that some scholar has written, who's talking about something to do with education, let's say how children learn, something to do with child development. So those 5 pages you will have to be able to read and then come and discuss in class, right? And during the class discussion, it's not necessary that you have to speak in a kind of English that floors everybody, that is absolutely perfect, right? That is not what we're expecting, but we are expecting you to actually read and understand those 5 pages. And those 5 pages, if you ask us, is something that even a elementary school student would be able to read and understand. So I mean, you can imagine as to the kind of English that we are expecting. So there has to be that familiarity, you have to have that working knowledge, which obviously means that when an assessment is given, you will have to probably be able to not probably, you will have to be able to write in English. You can't write an assessment using the Roman script but in your own language. Now those are the things that you can't do. But then obviously, I mean, if you've written our entrance and you've cleared our entrance, we know that you are able to do that much. So before, I mean, Rajgopal, there are a series of questions on interviews, but before you go there, I think very quickly, Lakshmi is asked, what about early childhood education? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So what about it? I didn't get the question. So in case there was something related to
I think,
Rajgopal, what you were saying earlier.
I think I was explaining that social studies will be around anything from ranging from history to geography to political science. I think that way, what is that they should read or prepare for early childhood. So I was just suggesting that early childhood education is not something that they would have learned in their school education. But if it was me, I would have started reading the National Curriculum Framework foundational stage. which will broadly give them an idea, prepare them for the interview. But actually, the question is, you should be interested in that, to be working with that age group of 3 to 8. That's quite critical to be applying for early child education. You should like that child's voice shouting in a classroom. That, this is my take, Rishi. To be.
Yeah, no, that's right. I mean, see, what do we look for when we are accepting or sending you an acceptance letter, that we are ready to accept you to do our masters in early childhood or social science or languages? What we are expecting is that you are very keen to do a master's program in that area, right? Now, how do we gauge as to how keen you are? We gauge that by trying to figure out how much have you understood that particular subject. Yeah, so if it's early childhood education, sorry, can you go on mute? Someone's unmuted and we are hearing your voice. So Asunta Kujur, I think you're unmuted. As long as there's no voice, it's okay to be unmuted.
I just mute. I'll take it. I'll just mute.
Yeah. So, so when it is to do with early childhood education, obviously, unlike social studies, where we may try and find out how much of history or geography have you understood and how excited you are, is what we will try and look for. But in early childhood education, what could be the subject? As Rajgopal said, we would try and understand how much have you tried understanding what does a child like, a child who is 5 years old, right? So we are not looking for expertise, because that is what you're coming in for an MA program, but we are trying to gauge how open you are, or more than open. I mean, all of us would probably be open in that sense. We want to do higher education, how excited you are about that area, right? So if it's early childhood, you should get thrilled about a child's voice. I mean, the noises that children make. I mean, you can't go into an early childhood space and say pin drop silence.
Exactly. That's the point.
So, yeah.
So there's a question on. Sorry, thank you, Rishi, for. I'm not that great in going through chat. I think as somebody who teach, I've taught online courses. I think you're quite well versed in going through chat. I think I missed that question. See, there is a question whether the subject test is through interview or written test. It's like this. Definitely, they have an interview, but you never know. The faculty may ask you to do something written there, impromptu, right? 2 raised to 29. What will be the last digit in that? So there could be a question that's asked. I mean, as a math question. 2 raised to exponent could be 29, and what could be the then they want to see how we approach that thing, right? But it may definitely you'll wait to hear from us. But it's highly unlikely that you'll have to go to a test center and then write. But be prepared for something written also. Is the point I'm trying to. We'll come back to you on that. I don't know who asked that question because it just say the school name, college name. There was some question. Ria, I did not understand your question on what did you mean by social studies and development. Is it quite similar or not? What were you trying to ask? Were you saying MA education and MA development? What is the difference? Is that what you asked? No, I didn't say in this. Yeah. I am not seeing any. Oh, yes. So, okay, right. So, the thing is, the MA development program, you should know. I don't have to tell you, right? You have applied. All of you are here because we kind of found you eligible to study at a Z University at one level, having shown some proficiency in the multiple choice question and the way you answered it. And then we thought MA development is not a possibility, but we see a possibility of MA education, right? So this is how I would differentiate. There are different ways of looking. MA development is concerned about the question about how do we give everybody a life of respect and dignity in India? It shouldn't matter which family, which caste, which class, which gender you're born into. How do you secure life of an individual or a community or a society? Right? That's the broader MA development question. MA education squarely is concerned about the child in a school system. We are a country with more than 40 crore children, and around 30 crore of children are in the school classroom. The first time in the history of India that it's a golden opportunity. The way, if I can speak like an educator or academic, it's a golden opportunity. You got so many kids in the classroom, but what is the promise to that child? A child who starts school in 2024, can we confidently tell them that we promise you 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 years of education? That's the new. That's the core question of education. So MA education program is concerned about improving the quality of school education. But when you start working, you know that it's not about quality; it's about access to quality education. Right? After access, are we doing things in a equitable manner, in an inclusive manner? Right? And having done both, are we doing justice to the child in the classroom? So it's that's the thing. But the Rishi, you can add because I hold my thoughts when I'm speaking in front of an academic. In terms of, but that's the thing. We should be interested in MA education. You could become a program manager in a CSR or whatever, right? There are a variety of roles. You can set up your own enterprise, like what the way Ram and Vijay set up Vidya Vidya, or you may be a mathematics curriculum expert, or I would say the country really needs social studies curriculum experts. I think social studies teaching is probably needs to improve. But the core is improving the school education. Hope, Priya, that answers long answer to your short question. And if I can say, education is one of the most important development intervention in a human being's life.
Hello.
That's a personal viewpoint. So I would really put, if you're not able to secure the life of a child by giving them proper school education, can you really imagine him or her, not putting gender in a binary? Can you imagine them to be productive citizens? That's the question. So both are different. We need both professionals as a country like India. We need both professionals. Choice is yours. You make a choice as a developing professional whether you want to immerse in education domain or the broader development. Okay, thank you. Don't worry about seats, Rahul. If we have more applications, we'll increase more sections. I mean, India is a country of 700 plus districts. So the idea is to place one education professor in the district. We don't have that many seats, but the point is don't worry about seats now. Then please focus about Rahul. Jokes apart, uh, what you need to read about the subject test. Be prepared for that. I mean, I would say go download the NCERT textbooks and go through that quickly. But NCERT, because it's available online. If you think the other state textbooks are available online, go for that. That will really help. But
Hello.
one class, I mean, the point is the one thing that clearly miss out is Rishi is when I say that the classroom size is not more than 45, 50, that surprises them because other places it's like a huge class of 120 when somebody comes to the mic and teaches a course. So our classroom sizes are not large. So the maximum will be 50, 40, 45 to 50 is the classroom.
Further, as like the opportunities in MA development in APU, can we expect same in MA education?
Okay.
So you
Just to answer
should
that,
answer that based on.
I think we were discussing this morning. Okay, let me tell you who has that question.
Sir,
I think
sir, I.
Kushi, is it? Who is it?
who was that? Can you just quickly tell me where are you speak? Where are you calling from? And are you fresh graduate? Are you working somewhere?
Sir, I am a postgraduate.
You're postgraduate. Okay, let me just quickly introduce you this education sector. What does it mean? Right? Not answering your question directly, but what does it mean? What do you mean by education sector? Huh? See these are the range of organizations in the education space. And I've deliberately, and there's one, and this is where our graduates are working. I didn't make it up. This is based on where the 1,000+ graduates working. It could range from large philanthropic organizations to community-based organizations, could be CSR, who may be doing research in some place. That's the range we're talking about. And key group that I did not deliberately include here is the schools. So the lot of school students are also working in school system. Maybe they're not directly in a teaching role. They could be developing curriculum material for the teacher. They could be designing teacher education programs. And should I tell you more, right? There are plenty of 120 organizations that comes for placement of St. James University. A large part are invested in education sector. Okay. So, I mean, it is not about Azim Premji University alone. Who asked that question? I think I'm talking about the education sector in today's India. Okay, so you can expect similar support for placements in terms of, as you to answer your question, like the development program. You'll expect the same kind of support for any education also. Okay, anything more you want to know?
So Shubham has a question,
Because
Rajgopal.
the point is this. This is my favorite slide. Since you asked that question, I'll just say this and stop. See the ecosystem of education. Of course, there is this classroom. We're not preparing you to become a teacher. You may be doing a lot of other things outside to improve that classroom system, right? But then there are other roles evolving in a country like India, where you may have to really go for the community interaction and tell them that it really matters for the child to be in the classroom. You can't just decide that the child need not go to school. You have to do that. You may be doing some kind of a policy analysis of what happened to what is the interlinkage between ICPS, Integrated Child Development Scheme, or the midday meal scheme to learning in a classroom for that community. Apart from all this, you may become, we don't have much researchers as compared to a country like a Canada. We don't have researchers in education. You may become a social entrepreneur. So, मैदान एकदम खुल्लम खुल्ला है, as the saying in education, but you have to be trained in the domain of education. This is not something that can be done with your techno-managerial mindset. Then you're designing something for, or if you implement things in education with your techno-managerial mindset, you may actually amplify the problem. A classic example is giving edtech tools in the hands of a child blindly. Okay, Rishi, if you want to add, and I'll take other questions.
Yeah. No, I think, yeah, you covered the response that we would have liked, Rajgopal, that, that it's, it's just so open given the stage at which our country currently is, right? Um it is just that moment we start doing education well at the school level, there are just, the opportunities will start multiplying, because it would have that, as they call, a butterfly effect, right? So just to give an example, let's say that today there are quite a number of people, quite a number of NGOs who work with teachers who are currently in the classrooms, right? And as and when that work gets deeper, and the teacher starts seeing her role as not just someone who will be there with a chalk piece writing on a board, but someone who's facilitating learning, someone who's creating teaching learning material of different kinds, right? For play based learning, for different kinds of activity based learning. So immediately there is already an area that is emerging wherein there will be support that the teacher would require, let's say, on creation of activity based material, right? So as a social entrepreneur, you may want to create something, you may want to create a small little unit of like-minded people where you get together to think about low cost teaching learning material that is accessible to every school, and not just some teaching learning material that only the elite schools can afford. For instance, you have, I mean, Lego probably will have its own teaching learning material for different classes, but then as a social entrepreneur, you will think about the remaining 95% of the schools which will not be able to afford the high cost teaching learning material, right? So there is an entrepreneurship opportunity there. So this way, it will have that butterfly effect over the next few years. Now, next 5-10 years, the space is just going to grow enormously. As Rajgopal, you rightly said, 400 million people are there, young people children. So you can imagine as to how much this space is going to grow, and as it grows, the kind of opportunities that will come up. I mean, many things probably which we've not even imagined at this point of time.
True. I think the kind of roles that may evolve in education sector is also, we never know when you start really. And this probably was the first time when I said this many children in the classroom. This is the first time probably we have this large number of first generation learners in the classroom. So what we need to design for that learner is going to be quite different from what we might have thought that we will use, that we designed in the 90s, or plug and play is not going to work. Download something from the coast of California is not going to work in India. So designing for that community in context, child in context is going to be. Thank you for that question. Slightly long answer for your short question. But the thing is, there are enough. How do I say this? I think I can say this. I mean, I can say because Rishi also can say. I think education sector in today's India is in a state where we have enough work opportunities, but not enough trained people. That's where we are. That's where we are, and we should not be surprised. That we should not be surprised. And you can go back and look at it if you don't believe me. I mean, we are saying that with some confidence of the 130, 140 organizations saying that we have 1,000 offers, 1,000 openings in the organizations, right? We're looking at websites like an NGO box, where there are exclusive social sector related opportunities. So that's the way it is. But again, which I say when I go for sessions in colleges is you should be interested in the domain of education. It's not like a degree that you can just sleep and get. In the sense you can't, there's no final semester examination कि चलो यार पिछले 10 साल के क्वेश्चन पेपर में देखता हूँ उसके बाद मेरा तैयारी हो जाएगा ना. It's not going to happen here. The faculty members like Rishi are going to make you read a lot, right? And through reading you make notes, you write assignments, and what we're trying to do is, as they say in Hindi, दृष्टिकोण बनाना है, right? You have to build perspectives in education in you. So yeah, so if with all that, if more questions we can answer. Why not we get opportunities in development? See, you can still work in the development. Education is a development intervention. So studying education doesn't mean that you are moving away from that. But at this point of time, we are not able to consider you for the MA development. But the choice is yours, right? The choice is yours. If you think that, and this is when you should come into this program only if you're interested in the domain of education and are also interested in the child.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, Nitesh.
Yes.
Sir, if I clear part 2 exam, can I chance for interview?
You have to, this is the thing. Nitish, I hope people who have joined are all who have got a specific email from Azim Premji University. Huh? If you have got a mail forwarded by your friend, what I'm saying may not make sense to you. So if you have received a mail directly from Azim Premji University, you have to fill a Google form. We have sent you 2-3 mails. I just saw a reminder that came this evening asking you to join this session had a Google form. So the procedure is that you have to fill the Google form carefully, very carefully, and you have to be very careful when you're choosing the subject. Once you fill that form, you're indicating to be evaluated for MA Education Program 24-26. You're just indicating that you're interested. And then how we will evaluate you, just wait to hear from us. Most probably it will be an interview, online interview. But will we make you write on the interview day and things like that? Wait to hear from us. Hope I'm clear.
Thank you, sir.
First step is to fill the form, but no pressure. You think through that. And this session is basically because we are getting a lot of questions, a lot of inquiries through email telling program के बारे में और बताइए. We don't know enough about what does it mean to study education. That is why the session is. And Rishi had joined in a very short notice.
Yeah, so Rajgopal, there is this question by Sagar who says that he's been shortlisted for the second round of development interview.
Then he should not be joining this program, this session at all.
Yeah.
So the
Sagar,
question to Sagar is, how did he get this link? Those who have shortlisted for MA development interview, I can confidently say.
Hello, sir.
Sir,
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Sagar. Sagar, go ahead.
But in first round, I am in waiting list, and I got mail
Right.
from APO in the now.
Now, Sagar, for yours is a slightly exceptional case. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. So, for example, after listening
Yes,
to
sir.
this talk, I'm just making it up. You don't have to do this. After listening to this, you feel that. Where are you calling from, Sagar?
Sir, I am a Nasik.
Nasik. Right? My favorite town. That's where I did my schooling till second standard. So,
Sir, my question: what I do, sir, now because
wait,
I am got
One second. Wait.
listen. You have two options in front of you. One is after listening to the talk, you'll find that MA education program looks interesting for me, for you, Sagar, and you fill that Google form. Okay, or you say that no, I think I'll go through the MA development program interview. That's it. So you have to make the choice, not us. Clear?
Sagar, you understood? It was clear, right?
no, sir.
So
Okay,
very
let me
simple.
clarify. Sagar, you got the mail because you were on the wait list of MA development for the first round.
Correct.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
and therefore you got it.
Yes.
But at the same time, in your case, you have already qualified for the second round interview of MA development. So you are in a
Yes,
very,
sir.
very unique position where nobody in this call, hopefully, maybe is. You can pursue MA education if you want, or you can pursue MA development. So you decide. If you want to go through the interview of MA education, then fill that form in that mail which has come to you. But if you want to continue with MA development, then you appear for MA development interview whenever the interview is scheduled.
Sir, if I can interest in I can show in interest in education, then any impact on that development interview?
फिर डेवलपमेंट इंटरव्यू नहीं करेंगे ना आपका, फिर दोनों नहीं करेंगे ना.
Yes, yes, sir.
तब आपको बताना पड़ेगा कि कौन
Yes,
सा
sir.
आप करना चाहते हो.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andra.
Yeah, that was clear.
Any other?
Ashutosh is asking the same question which Lakshmi had asked earlier. Selection process in MA education for early childhood.
sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, I gave my written test on 10th March for MA development, but I got an email through the mail Ajim Premji University for MA education, and they are offering for me MA education. So if I want to choose MA development, so what should I do? Or
No, the thing is, the mail clearly says that we cannot consider you for MA development interviews.
sir, what is the reason behind it, sir?
Clear, no, you should have guessed it, right? So we will have a different marks cut off.
Okay, sir. Sir, please explain about the early childhood education, sir, because there are many confused, sir.
See, the thing is,
Sir,
I
just
mean,
please.
I'm going to repeat. I think there was a
Please
question that's coming on. What do you want to know? You want to know what do we mean by early child education, or you want to know how to prepare for the entrance test? Oh, sorry, for the evaluation.
Sir, for evaluation.
For evaluation. Okay. See, early childhood, technically, academically, it means what should we teach, how should we teach, what should we assess in children between the age group 3 to 8. There are some academics who may say that education also starts between 0 to 3. But for this definition, is 3 to 8. 3 is where when a child enters, if you're rich, you send them to pre-KG, UKG, Montessori school. But if you're, depending on your, or if you're from a marginalized background, you're going to Anganwadi, Balwadi. So what we teach them, and the new education policy has also now integrated this early childhood into the school curriculum. Previously, the policy, the school education starts from age of 6, that is grade 1. Now, in the new scheme of things, this ECE has become very, very crucial. There are government projects called Nipun Bharat, if you have seen, or what is known as ensuring that every child attains foundation literacy and numeracy. And that requires a lot of trained professionals. So that is what the ECE domain is about. Now, you should mention as a subject area to study at Azim Premji University if you're interested in it.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Sir,
Yeah, you should have
background.
a
Yeah, sir. Background is will be matter in any area, sir.
background. I don't understand what you have studied in your graduation.
Yes, yes.
That doesn't matter. No, Rishi. I don't think the what you
Yeah.
have, so the beauty of programs at Azim Premji University is, and this is for all the programs, whatever you have done for your undergraduation is valuable for us. Right?
Right.
Whatever you've done is valuable. There could be students, I know there are students who have done BCom, but they have gone into maths education and science education because they're generally interested in mathematics.
Sir, I did my graduation with English honors subject. So
It's up to you. See, the thing is,
where should I go, sir, for MA education, languages or early childhood education, sir?
see, who's asking the question? Who's that?
Muhammad Ali. Ali.
See, Ali, see,
Muhammad Ali, sir.
I just know you for the last 30 minutes. How can I give you that kind of a guidance? If I knew that you for the last 5, 10 years, I can clearly tell you. So you should probably ask your mentors, your faculty, in terms of what do you think is an area? I have this opportunity. Should I get into language education, or should I get into? And but I repeating what I said, early childhood education is to engage with children in that young early age. That is crucial. That is very, very important. Language education is much more. It continues. It continues and throughout,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Rajgopal, that's something that's important for, I think, everyone here on this call to, try and think through what is it that you've done so far in life, right? And what are the things that have excited you. So even during your undergrad, so for instance, Ali, you have done your honors in English literature, I would assume. So which basically means, I mean, I would then assume that your interest is in language, right? Understanding language deeply, studying different aspects of language, and in this case, English, and hence literature, English literature. You would have done classic literature. So various things with regard to language. So without knowing you, if I just looked at your, let's say, what you have done so far till undergrad, I would think that you are most suited for doing languages within an MA education program. But if I get to know you and I see that you have deep interest in how young children learn, right? How, what is it that we do with young children so that they learn very well? Then I would say it's okay, even if you've done your undergraduation in language, you seem to have a very deep interest with regard to early childhood education, so you should do ECE, right? So similarly, if you ask that question to yourself and try and figure as to where your deep interest lies, that is the one that you would pick in a case such as yours.
Thank you. Thanks, Rishi.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think let's spend some time. I think we have still 2, 3 more days to fill the form, right? Just read, Google early child education. What is it all about? And if you ask me, see, if you ask somebody like me, that's a very personal opinion. I think some of the problems that we are seeing in higher classes in Indian schools is because of weak ECE. So a lot of restructuring, reimagination of even assessment of young children. I think sometimes we give the pencil too early in their hands. So, but you should be really interested to handle that child, work with them, who will run away from the classroom, not sit in the classroom. And as Rishi said, it's not about disciplining the child. So that engaging and connecting with that child until 8 years, it's not an easy task. And you'll be supporting the teachers, motivating them, helping them. You may not be in the classroom teaching, but you'll have to know the life of the teacher, know the subject well. And I used to ask this. I don't have an answer to this question. We used to teach children: sun rises in the east and sets in the west, right? But later we tell them, not really. The sun is stationary. Why do we do that? Why do we teach them the sun is rising? Sun is stationary. So those are the nuanced thing that you will learn about how do you introduce a concept, what is age appropriate curriculum, things like that. So yeah, to me, I mean, if you ask Rishi or thing, for us, all 5 areas are important. That's why it's there. It's for the learner, for you to really decide which area you want to focus. And your, I think I forgot, Rishi, you can keep me right. Your field practice in the third semester is going to be on that subject that you've chosen.
That's right.
Right. So it's not only about, we're not evaluating it just to see whether you how much you remember from school. There are 4 courses that you'll study, 4 topics in every semester. Four topics you'll study, plus a 16 weeks of, or sorry, 12 to 13 weeks of field practice in that subject area on the field in your third semester.
Yeah.
I've been asked a very hard question. What type of question for MA mathematics? It's MA education with mathematics thing. So it's very hard. I mean, somebody like a Sharath would, what he would ask, it could be anywhere from algebra, uh, what is A plus B whole square, or yeah, what comes into your mind if, when you hear the term A square. Very hardly anybody will say it's an area of a square, but it could be anything from algebra to, I don't know how much of geometry they will ask, but it's something that you can answer, quickly calculate and tell. I don't know. I think one of the pillars of mathematics education is also estimation or approximation. So they may also see whether are you able to calculate and say something. Approximately, I think the answer will be this. So it's
Yeah.
all about your mathematical thinking rather than getting 100 out of 100 in mathematics.
And again, I would go back to what Rajgopal, you and I both were saying in the beginning, right? The questions that are asked, yes, to some extent, to find out how well you know the subject, but it will also show as to how interested you are in the subject. Because if you have applied for a subject in which you are not interested, obviously you will not know even the very basics. So that is why the questions are going to be actually very basic. It will just give us a good idea of how interested you are, because obviously only if you are interested in that subject would you be able to take it up deeply, would you be actually then able to engage with teachers on that. If you're not even interested in that subject, what kind of engagement would you have with a teacher who's already teaching that subject for 30-40 years, right? So that those are the kind of people that you would engage with. See, after an MA education program, when you were asking what would you do and things like that, whatever we do, it is finally for that teacher who is in the classroom, whether we are creating curriculum, whether we are creating teaching learning material, whether we are doing direct teacher training, it's all for the teacher who's already been there in the classroom. So what are we doing as having done 2 years of MA is bringing in fresh ideas, right, for the teacher to take on and engage with the children. So it will have to be exciting new ideas. When will new ideas come? When we ourselves are very excited about that subject. So we know already quite a bit about it. We are always trying to figure out in our mind, what can be done to make the subject more interesting. And then we do a MA wherein we really get a grounding, we get a good framework to then take that to a workspace. Yeah. So that's the kind of journey that we imagine. So for that, we need to have that excitement. So please choose your subject based on your excitement. Don't worry about what you have done, what you've not done. It, like for instance, I think this question is also useful for others who are not just early years but even social science. Let's say you've done BSc, right? You did BSc honors in, let's say, chemistry, but you are deeply interested in social science. It doesn't matter, you can still apply for social science, because what we are going to ask is at grade 10, and someone asking what does grade 10 mean. So class 10 level social science, right? So if you're interested in social science, you would know class 10 level social science very well. It's just that in your undergraduation you did not do it, but because you're interested in that subject, you will know what is it that that subject means to you, right? And if you show that interest in your interview, then that is what we are basically looking for in a MA student.
There are some questions which I may not have really answers after filling out the Google form. How many days until the interview? Interviews will happen in April. I know that. Exact dates, you just need to hear from us.
Yeah, Diksha's just one question, I think very quickly we can clarify. 3 to 8, when Rajgopal was saying, he was referring to the national education policy.
Yeah, it's
right?
not class. It's age
Yeah.
3 to 8.
So age 3, which is equivalent to a nursery child. A child joins nursery at 3 years, right? And age 8 is equivalent to a class 2 child. And the national education policy talks about nursery to class 2 as the foundational stage. This is what is called the early years education. This foundational stage is, as Rajgopal was saying, very important. Unless we build this foundation very strong, it's very difficult to then carry on to do very good education, right? So if we do that well, then all the children who get a good foundation then can do or hope to do very well in their school and in their higher education.
गरम में पिल हाथी से
Okay, I didn't realize we spent more than almost 60 minutes, 1 hour here. Let's see if there are more questions we can take. Otherwise, 1 hour is what we planned, and interview and subject test both is on the same interview. No, see, the subject test is what. Yes, that's right. It will happen together. No? You will not have to come separately for a subject test to a center. Is what they're thinking. But all that, Suhail, to answer your question, all that will evolve after we see how many of you are interested to apply for the MBA education program. And this 1 hour interaction is giving me personally a lot of hope, both for MBA education program and also for the country. I can say. So just give us a couple of days. We will inform you very clearly how the evaluation, but we will keep it quite simple and straightforward, that so that it is easy for both of us. And the entire thing, what you'll have to read, what you'll have to prepare, you'll get a much more formal email from us. This, until next week, we're just trying to sense your interest.
Rajgopal, earlier somewhere, I think this was somebody from Telangana Social Welfare was saying that they get access to the internet, that is the lab access, not all the time. I'm trying to see where that comment was, and hence there was a request. What was that request? Can anyone just put that back again? I think it was from TSRW.
They may,
Mahendra Hills, I think.
yeah, I think they may want to, if see the once the interview day is fixed, if you want to move the interview time from a morning to an afternoon, all that is possible. Changing the interview date may not be possible, but we're quite flexible with that. If that is what the question is, we're quite flexible about moving the timing within the date. Can we change subject area if there is possible? Just try clicking the form. There could be an edit my response option. Just try Sindhu Bhargavi's question. You should be able to edit the subject list. So somebody is already answering yes, you can. So somebody has already tried changing the subject. Good. I think if there are no more questions, nobody asked anything about.
I have one question.
Yes, please.
Sir, this I have selected for first round, second round. So what will be their interview or test?
No. Say it again. What was the first preference?
My question is, what in the second round there will be interview or test?
For MA education?
Yes.
See, then you will have a subject test.
Okay.
Okay. When did
Yep.
you join now, or did you join? Were you there from the beginning? That's okay.
I have joined in beginning.
Join the beginning, right?
Shubham, let me answer that. Shubham, you're asking about MA development or MA education?
MA education.
Okay, you appeared in the first round or the second round?
Second round.
So how did you get this mail? I mean, how did you join this call? Hello, did you get a mail from us? Shivam, can you hear me?
So I have in first round I have filled for the development and I have cleared it, and I got the email in second round that you are not getting this development. You have opt to the
Right.
to like
Correct, no, Baba.
in-
So you have not applied for MA education. You have applied for MA development. This
Yep.
call is for people who have applied for MA development, लेकिन चूंकि
Okay.
उनके मार्क्स इतने नहीं थे कि उनको MA डेवलपमेंट हम दे सके, इसीलिए हम उनको MA एजुकेशन का ऑप्शन दे रहे हैं. तो आप चूंकि टेस्ट दे चुके हैं तो दोबारा टेस्ट नहीं होगा, खाली
Correct.
इंटरव्यू होगा और
Okay.
उसमें इंटरव्यू के साथ कुछ आपको लिखने के लिए भी बोलेंगे, लेकिन जो टेस्ट होता है, जो नेशनल टेस्ट होता है, वो नहीं होगा.
Okay, got it. Thank
Got
you
it?
so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just no, you don't have to go through the multiple choice part of reading comprehension. All that is done. You've proven your capacities there. Only thing that is pending is MA education will require you to go through the subject test that we were talking.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All the best. Yeah, interview date, we'll work on all that. Once we know how many people have applied, only then we'll decide. So it'll be definitely in April, because the classes would start in July. The interviews will be in April, and we'll roll out the offer letters in the month of May, so that you have enough time to prepare and join us in July or mid-June, early July will be the classes. Okay. Nice. Thank you, Rishi. I think on that note, it's
Not
also
at all.
6 o'clock. We should also Friday evening. I didn't expect this many people to be joining on a Friday evening. It was wonderful. If you have more questions, you know our email. You can write to us at outreach@apu.edu.in, or if you have any specific question, log into the applicant portal and raise a query. And if there are any final questions we can take, but I would probably say this by stopping that the country really needs a lot of trained education professionals. And after completion of the program, you may get into a program management or administration functionary like a program coordinator, program manager, or you may become a specialist in curriculum designing, content developer, or who knows, textbook developer, or a teacher educator, or you could become a researcher as a third option in consulting organizations, universities. And if you don't like any of these things, I'm saying this with some confidence because you can set up your own social enterprise. There are actually people who call themselves impact investors. I know Bangalore is known for all big unicorns and things like that, but Bangalore is also a place where there are social impact investors who will invest only if you can prove a social impact. And you could set up your own social enterprise capable of some innovative thinking required for a country like. And on the note on social enterprise, let's wrap up this discussion. Thank you very much for joining, and for my colleagues also
Thank
who
you.
are answering the questions and complimenting this. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajgopal. Thank you, everyone, for joining. All the best.